Hello, everybody. This is Drew, one of the student organization consultants with the Office of Student Life. And we're very excited to announce a new event reservation, room reservation process and function that we're adding to VictorsLink here in a couple of short weeks. And this video is designed to hopefully alleviate that transition and answer any questions you may have, as well as just make things really easy for you as you start planning and reserving rooms for your student org events the rest of the semester. So the beginning of this is going to look very, very familiar. It's very similar. It's literally exactly the same to how you'd access the event form now. There's just some new additions that we're really excited to show you right now on the event request itself. So without further ado, you want to start by obviously going to VictorsLink and then click in the top right, click Manage. Now, this is a friendly reminder, only those with manage or admin access on their student org pages will be able to make events. That's not changing. So if you're a president or a treasurer, you should automatically have this access. And then depending on the org, I know some orgs give certain officers management access as well, so they can plan events and do some of the other management functions. But if you are just a regular member in your org, you might not see your org here under my memberships. You might not have the ability to make an event. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go ahead and click Office of Student Life. Again, this is going to look very familiar. Click the three bars in the top left, click Events, click Create Event. As I'm sure this looks exactly the same as it used to. Give your event the title. I'm going to give mine the very creative title of Test. Be it an athletic event. Will be test. Obviously, you want to make sure you give, when it's an actual event, give an actual title, an actual theme, an actual description, but this is not the purpose of this video, so we're just going to quickly go through that. But now we go down here to time and place, and this is the main thing we're going to discuss today. So before I get into anything, it's important to note that add location manually, which I know most orgs have used recently in trying to get a room, use add location manually, put what room you want, go on. That is no longer going to be accepted. You only click add location manually if it's either an online event or if it's an off-campus event. So if you click it, you can either click location here, input the off-campus location that your event's going to be at. So it's a bowling alley, if it's Zap Zone, if it's a movie theater, anything like that, put that there. Or if it's online location, you'll click online location and fill in all these different things with the link, all that stuff, and then click save. But yeah, it's very important to know that only click add location manually if it's an off-campus event or if it's an online event. So if it's anything on campus, do not click add location manually anymore. If it is on campus, you want to click this add reservation request button right to the left of it. So I know I keep reiterating it, but this is for add reservation request is for all on-campus events. So this top part likely looks very, very familiar. You obviously just put the day and time of your event. So for the purpose of this video, we're going to have it be on March 2nd from 12 to 1. Another cool function we have here now is the setup time. So in this example, if I'm having an event and I have a lot of decorations or a lot of different things that I know are going to take me maybe a little time to set up, or even if I just want to be there a few minutes early and have the room there so I can kind of mentally prepare myself and make sure everything's all set, you can go into the setup time and put 30 minutes. And that way you're able to show up 30 minutes into the room that you want for your event. You're able to start 30 minutes before it starts to kind of help set up and have a little bit of a buffer room there before the event starts. And the same thing with teardown time, that this is after the event. So again, in my previous example, if you have a lot of different things there, a lot of decorations, stuff like that, that might take a little while to tear down. And you maybe don't want another org coming in right after you or another event coming in right after you. And you want a little bit of a buffer zone there, you can add the 30 minutes for the teardown time as well. So this is just a nice new function that we have also. But the main thing is this new function where you click Browse Available Rooms. So this will show you all the available rooms that are available right now at 3:45 on October 27th for between 11:30 to 1:30 on March 2nd, 2023. So there's updates in live time. So any rooms or any rooms in any building that are already reserved between 11:30 to 1:30 on March 2nd will not show up here. So if you're trying to find a room, trying to search for something, and it doesn't show up, there's a good chance it's because it's already reserved or it's not available for some reason. So, but in order to see the rooms that are available, you'll click this building button right here. And this number one option to help me find a space, no preference. This is only for main campus. So the main campus is where the university center, Castle building, all that stuff is. It's really, everything's there except the Fairlane buildings. Obviously that's on the Fairlane campus. But if you do not care what building, what room, anything like that, you would click this number one option and then you'd be all set. And then they'll UUE will find a room for you that is on main campus, but if you really don't have any preference, this is the option you would select. Now, just as a reminder, this is just for main campus. If you're looking for any room on Fairlane, we will get to that in a second. Now, if you want a specific university center space, you would obviously click university center spaces. And it'll take a few minutes to load. And then this is, again, all of the available rooms that are not already reserved on March 2nd from 11:30 to 1:30. So since we're doing this very well in advance, basically every room is available here. So it gives you a chance to see all the different options that would be there in the UC. Another important note here is that the promo tables and bake/day sale tables that I know most orgs like to do, and most orgs have previously just done like the add location manually. You will also now reserve those through this new process as well. So again, if you add location manually and just put a promo table or a bake sale table, there's a chance it's denied. You want to do it like this way. So just click University Center Spaces, they'll show up here at the bottom. But as you can see, all the different UC spaces that orgs hold events in are all right here. And I know I keep reiterating this point, but if, for example, if Coach Off Hall A is already taken by an org on March 2nd, it will not show up here. So don't leave a comment saying, hey, I actually want Coach Off Hall A, or add location manually and put Coach Off Hall A, because you're not going to get it because it's already reserved. So it's more to use this new function. The spaces that you see are the ones that are available to reserve. The spaces that you don't see are already taken. And unfortunately, you will not be able to do that. So you'll either have to maybe change your day and time to get a space that you do want to get, or potentially move to a different space at the same day and time that is available. So the main point of this function is to prevent the constant back and forth that I'm sure several of you know of between UUE and the student org itself, in trying to see like, okay, well, this room's available at this time, and then to go back and forth in the VictorsLink comments, and it takes a little while to finally get a building and a reservation nailed down and set up for your event. So this is designed so students themselves can see what rooms are available, and hopefully alleviates a lot of the concern and headaches that I know several orgs have had in the past in reserving events. So hopefully all of that makes sense. But we don't just have the university center spaces on here. Outdoor spaces are also available. It is getting colder, so maybe these might not be as popular. But if you are planning on having an outdoor event, the Chancellor's Pond, the fields, the patios, all of those are right here as well. Option 4 are union spaces. So Union obviously is across the street. Their house in Maize and Blue, Victor's then, room 116. I know a lot of orgs utilize these spaces, so you find those under Union. Now another big one is Fairlane Center. So when I mentioned at the top, the number one option that was right here that helped me find a space, no preference. If you go to Fairlane and you have the same thing where you're like, I just want to be at Fairlane. I don't care what room, where I'm at. I just want to be somewhere at Fairlane. Then you would click Fairlane Center Spaces, and you click this top option right here that says no preference, I'm not sure. So it's basically the same exact thing as this number one, except it's for the Fairlane campus instead of the main campus. And then the other Fairlane options are right here. Same with the promo tables and the bake sale tables that are available at Fairlane are also reserved underneath Fairlane also. And then quickly go through these. We have Fieldhouse spaces. Obviously not as many there, but if you are interested in having an event at the Fieldhouse, EIC. It's right here. the Mardigian Library there, and then main campus academic building spaces. So a lot of these are often like in the Castle building and the AB building, as you can see here. You aren't going to be able to like reserve like a concrete set room. But if you want to just have a Castle classroom, you just click this option, one in the AB, so on and so forth. So you also, I know a lot of times orgs like to utilize these rooms for meetings and such. So you would reserve these through there as well. Now I'm going to go back to university center spaces. And right here is features. So you also we have room capacity. So if the most is 310. So if you, for some reason, want only like a 65, it'll update the option. So it only shows rooms that have 65 people. Want it even less, let's get to 20. See some of those disappear. So I'm not sure why you'd want a room that only has 20 people, but if you want a smaller room, you can kind of mess around with this. It only shows those options. Same thing as if you want only a room that has 300 people, you can edit that so you can see the bigger spaces that are really available on campus. But as I was mentioning before, the features down here, so very similar to the room capacity, it'll only show the options that meet this criteria. So if you need Wi-Fi connection, you'll see the buildings that have a stable Wi-Fi connection, or the rooms that have a stable Wi-Fi connection. If you need banquet rounds for some reason, you can see the rooms and availability of the rooms that have banquet rounds. Same with class. If you want a classroom, you can see the rooms that are more set for classrooms, boardroom. So I'm not going to go through all these options, but you guys get the idea. It's just, if you need any of these different things, you can just click it and you'll see the rooms that meet that criteria. I know a lot of orgs also maybe need like a sound system. You can see the options for sound system. If you need a projector, see the options of a projector. It really just helps orgs. Again, I know a lot of times it happens with orgs is they go back and forth in the comments on event posts and trying to figure out like, okay, does this room have a projector? Does this room have this? Does this room have that? This is designed to hopefully alleviate, again, a lot of those headaches and help you to find a room that's best suited for your event as easily and as quickly as possible. So hopefully that all kind of makes sense. But once you've realized, okay, I want to be at the UC, I don't really care about the capacity, and I just need a sound system. And Coach Off A is great for that. It's here, so I know that means it's available. Go ahead and click it, and you click Add Request to Event. And you'll see it shows up right there. And obviously, if you want to change it, you just look at Edit Reservation, and then go from there. So, however, it's important to note that just because you added it here does not mean you are guaranteed that space. So I'll show you in a second, but you do need to complete this event form just like you did in the past to its completion. So for example, I'm doing this right now. If I stop doing it, don't fully submit it, go do something else and come back a few minutes later, I might try to submit it and you might get an error message, or you might reach out to you and say, sorry, Coach Off Hall A is no longer available. So that's why it's important that you fully submit it, because if you wait or if you don't fully submit it, just because you put Coach Off Hall A here does not mean you will definitely get that space unless you fully submit the request. And even then, we'll go over in a second, you still need to get that full UUE approval that we have gotten in the past. So just like before, the event request needs to get fully approved by UUE. And if it's not, that does not mean, and if you just submit the form and you put this, what I showed you do right now, that does not mean your event is fully approved. So if you have any questions with that, obviously reach out to us at orgconsultants@umich.edu. But the main purpose of this is just to give students a better idea of what rooms are available at what days, what times, what meets the different features, all that stuff. It does not mean clicking the event does not mean, or clicking the room, excuse me, does not mean you have it reserved. You still have to completely submit the form, and UE fully has to approve the form as well. So that end of the process will remain relatively exactly the same as it was before. The only real difference is this part right here, and hopefully it can help you create a room, or finding a room. Obviously, sometimes things happen, and maybe Coach Off Hall A is actually filled, or maybe there's two students at the same time trying to reserve Coach Off Hall A, so it shows up for both, but only obviously one org can get it. So that is why you still need that full UE approval and the form on VictorsLink to be fully approved, not just submitted, but fully approved before you can count on having that space and having that event completely all ready and set to happen. So again, hopefully that makes sense. If it does not, obviously reach out to us or consultants at umich.edu and we can help you out. But yeah, so like I said, just because you added this does not mean you're done. You still need to go through just like before and completely submit and fill out the form. We can show this to the public. These questions at the bottom will be edited most likely to better suit the new reservation process. But for right now, making sure you answer those to the best of your ability. And click next. This is if you want to have any RSVP options. Any event questions that you want to have with your event. So you upload a photo. I'm just going to skip my submission. And this is the part I was talking about before where it's confirming your reservation availability. So this is, again, in the example I said where there might be two students trying to get the same space at the same exact time for the same day and time. In the time that it takes to complete the form, this is ensuring that, in my case, Coach F Hall A is still available in the time it took me to complete the form. So there is a possibility that this does not, it's no longer available. And in that case, then I would have to kind of change and reevaluate my event. So in the case of this, it got fully approved because we are on the OSL page, but in your org's case, you would click that and then click submit. And you should get some sort of, it'll look kind of similar to this where it should say your event request has been submitted or something like that. Again, you want to make sure you fully submit the event. And if you don't, as I said before, I know I keep saying this again, but it's very, very important. If you don't, that does not mean your event is scheduled to happen. The whole process of submitting the event request, getting preliminary approval from OSL, and then getting full approval from UE is still applicable. This is just designed, again, to help you out in helping the room reservation process be as easy and simple as possible. So a few other quick notes. The 2 week in advance policy is still in effect. So you do need to have at least 2 weeks before the event, and your rent submission has to be then, regardless of if the room is available or anything like that. It will still be denied unless it's 2 weeks in advance. That is not changing. And I believe that is pretty much it. Hopefully this makes sense to everybody. Again, like I said, if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to either stop by the hub or the Campus Involvement Hub downstairs in the UC, or just reach out to us via email or consultants@umich.edu. Currently, the plan is to roll this new functionality on the reservation request out on the week of November 7th. So look out for that. We'll also have some other communication on fuel and on VictorsLink. So hopefully you should be aware and well prepared for this part. And hopefully this video is also informative and helps you adapt to this new process. So again, thank you for listening. And if you do have any questions, feel free to let us know. Thank you.